Am I the a-hole for telling my sisters to never have kids after they told me to give up my 4-year-old? It's hard to explain what it feels like to be a single mom raising 2 kids when their dad just decides he's done one day. People say you're so strong like it's a compliment, but strength isn't a choice when the alternative is letting your kids fall apart. 2 years ago, I, 26F, woke up in the middle of the night to find my then partner, the father of my 2 boys, now 4 and 6, gone. No fight. No note. Just gone. His closet was half empty, the toiletries gone, and his phone was turned off. When he finally responded to me 3 days later, his words were burned into my brain. I need to find myself again. Being a full-time dad is holding me back. I just want to be a guy for a while. I thought it was a cruel joke. I remember sitting on the floor in the kitchen, staring at my phone, rereading the message over and over. My boys were asleep in the next room, and I kept thinking, how do I tell them their dad doesn't live here anymore? At first, I tried to be understanding. I told myself maybe he was having a breakdown, that he'd come back when he realized what he'd thrown away. But weeks turned into months, and the only thing he did was move in with his parents. When I finally filed for custody, it wasn't to be vindictive, it was survival. I couldn't live in limbo waiting for him to decide when he felt like being a father again. I offered him chances to visit the kids, supervised or not. My lawyer even told me to document every time he didn't respond, every ignored message, every "I'm too busy right now." The list got long fast. By the time court rolled around, he had seen the kids once. One single visit in nearly 8 months. He still walked into the courtroom trying to argue for 50-50 custody like he'd been a stable parent all along. His parents were sitting behind him, looking like the poster couple for "We support our poor misunderstood son." I'll never forget the smirk his mom gave me when I testified about the lack of involvement. In the end, the judge gave me primary custody, with him getting 6 overnights a month. He was also ordered to pay child support, money he's dodged and flaked on ever since. He quit his job at one point just to avoid paying. His parents supported that decision too. They said he was stressed. So here I am, 2 years later, raising 2 little boys who are both dealing with the fallout in totally different ways. My oldest, who's 6, hates going to his dad's. He calls it the mean house. He says his dad's mom tells him I'm trying to steal him from them, and that if he really loved them, he'd want to stay. His therapist has documented parental alienation, but apparently, that still doesn't move the needle in court. Every time I tell my lawyer what's happening, she says, it's not enough for the judge to revoke visitation. Do you know how helpless that feels? Watching your child cry, beg not to go, and knowing the law doesn't care? And then there's my 4-year-old. Sweet, sensitive, full of energy, and completely torn. He loves his dad. I mean, adores him. Every visit, he gets so excited packing his little bag. But when he comes home, it's like I'm the enemy. He screams that he wants his dad, that I'm mean and not fun, and that I don't love him. He throws things, refuses to eat, and cries until he's hoarse. And it breaks me. It's like every time he leaves, he comes back a little more confused about who loves him and who doesn't. I don't blame him, he's 4. He doesn't understand manipulation or emotional conditioning. He just knows his dad's house feels different, and maybe he gets to eat more junk food or stay up late or hear, "Your daddy's little man." Meanwhile, I'm the one enforcing bedtimes, brushing teeth, and trying to hold everything together. I've started seeing a therapist too, mostly because I needed to learn how to cope. It's hard not to take it personally when your child screams that they hate you. It's hard not to feel like you're failing them when you're the one showing up every single day. So when my sisters Nina, 29, and Lauren, 33, came over last weekend to check on me, I thought maybe it would help. I love them, but they've always been a little out of touch. They don't have kids, and their version of helping is usually just offering unsolicited advice. That day, they saw it all, the screaming, the meltdown, the exhaustion. My youngest had just gotten home from his dad's, and it was one of those nights where everything was a trigger. I couldn't even get him to take off his shoes without a fight. He threw a toy car at the wall, screamed, "I hate you," and locked himself in his room. My 6-year-old was trying to calm him down, and I was just sitting on the hallway floor, close to tears, whispering, "I know, baby. I know." Eventually, I got both boys to sleep. My arms were still shaking from holding back tears when I walked into the kitchen. Nina and Lauren were sitting there quietly. I could tell from their faces that they'd been talking about me while I was in the other room. Lauren finally spoke first. "I don't know how you do this, honestly." I gave her a tired smile and said, "One day at a time." But then Nina added, "You know, if he hates being here that much, maybe you should just let him go to his dad's full-time." I froze. "What?" She shrugged, totally serious. I mean, what's the point of all this fighting? If he's miserable, maybe it's better for everyone if you let him stay there. Lauren nodded.
Yeah.
I couldn't deal with that level of attitude from a 4-year-old. You deserve peace. He clearly wants to be with his dad, so just let him. I stared at them, my sisters, my family, saying I should just give up my son. I said, "You're talking about a 4-year-old, not a roommate I don't get along with. He's a child. He's acting out because he's confused and hurting." Lauren rolled her eyes. Well, he's also making your life miserable. Maybe you both need a break. Something inside me snapped. I said, "You two should never have kids."
Ever.
Because you clearly have no idea what unconditional love means. You don't just walk away from your child because they're hard. You don't give up because it's inconvenient. That's what deadbeat parents do. Nina stood up defensive. Don't you dare judge us like that. You're acting like we're monsters for saying what everyone's thinking. I said, if everyone's thinking that, then everyone's wrong. My son is 4. He's in pain. He doesn't need me to abandon him to prove I'm peaceful. He needs me to fight for him even when it's hard. Lauren said, "You're being dramatic. We're just saying it's not worth it if he doesn't even appreciate you." I actually laughed. You think parenting is about being appreciated? Newsflash, it's about showing up no matter what. They both got quiet and then Nina mumbled, "You've changed. You're angry all the time." I said, "I'm exhausted all the time because I'm raising 2 kids alone while their dad gets to play victim and my own sisters tell me to quit." That was the end of it. I told them to leave. They called me a B***TC on their way out, and I slammed the door behind them. Later that night, I got a string of texts from both of them. "You were out of line. You don't know what it's like for us to watch you struggle and refuse help. Maybe we won't bother next time." I replied to both. "Please do. And maybe take your own advice about keeping comments to yourself." Now, a part of me wonders if I went too far. I know they meant it in their own misguided way. They think they're protecting me from stress. But the truth is, I'm already fighting every day just to keep my boys safe, loved, and emotionally stable. My 4-year-old doesn't need another parent to give up on him. He needs someone who will stand in the storm and still say, "I'm not going anywhere." So yeah, I told my sisters never to have kids, and I meant it. Because parenting isn't for people who walk away when things get hard. It's for people who stay even when it hurts. Am I